before it goes onto the YouTube. Bit of a weird glitch that was.
Yep, we're live on YouTube.
Yep. Just wait for the. Oh, there it is. And we are set, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday, everybody. I almost said Thursday. So used to doing Tier 3. But we are back at it again here for Prospects eRacing League for the PlayStation Academy Division to kick off the new season with Mexico. I am your commentator, Just Gaming, and I am here with T-Mouse. T-Mouse, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Pleasure to be alongside you for the probably first time in a while. But it's definitely good to be back on track and in the commentary booth as well.
Exactly. Good to have you back as always, my mate. Always good to see a lot of the community and a lot of the admins actually getting themselves involved with commentary as well. Really warms my heart a little bit. I can definitely tell you that. But Panaman is in the chat first one, of course. If I do remember correctly, a new admin for the Academy Division, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he's one of our new admins for this season. Definitely stepped up to take that academy role, and definitely hit the ground running, if I do say so myself.
Well, hey, it's always a good start, but let's see if we can improve. As always, is going to be building us all, both as people, as drivers, as admins, as commentators, everything. But as we find ourselves here to kick off the new season for the Academy round of Prospects eRacing League, of course, a lot of big things have happened this season. With the expansion to the PC League, the expansion to the Xbox League, which my main man here, T-Mouse, is actually being the head of the Xbox League, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. So
yep.
I've stepped up. Yes.
Yep, I always have to be unsure of myself because I always mess these things up. But but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so a lot of big things happening with Prospects, a lot of big things definitely in the future. And we hope we start off like T-Mouse said, hitting the ground running. But Big Z is going to be starting us off and setting the standard, as he is going to be the first person to finish their outlap, with a few drivers ahead currently coming out of the pit lane. As we do see the Aston Martin of Loquito Yaya coming around turn 1, 2, and 3. And actually, T-Mouse, you've raced at Mexico before in Prospects. What is your opinion of the track?
I think as a track, it's a fantastic track. It's definitely a fan favorite when it comes to obviously the South American region. When it comes to driving it on the game, it is definitely a wheel-based track. If people get what I mean by that, obviously, you know, I think drivers with wheels compared to controllers are more favourable to this track, especially during Sector 2 and the S's.
Oh, definitely.
But don't get me wrong, it's a good one. It's just not a personal favourite, being a controller player myself.
Yeah, I definitely know the feeling being used to a controller for a long time. I only recently got into the wheel, and I gotta say, I do see what you mean. Those S's through turns 7 to 11, it's a lot easier, I would say, on the wheel. But Bigsy now coming around the final corner to set the standard, hugs that right side like the professional esports drivers do, as he times in a 116.594, and I think that's going to be a very tough time to beat. A very good start to qualifying, but of course, as always, as time goes on, the amount of grip increases with the bits of rubber, and we're going to see some faster times as Matty D13 crosses with the 122.7 for himself.
Yeah, good lap time for him on the mediums there. I think that's a definitely solid foundation. I'll be surprised if we see anyone into the 14s here, but I'll definitely be expecting kind of mid-15s, low 16s as a minimum, probably for the pole lap around here.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. But of course, to the people back at home, this is the Mexican Grand Prix to kick off the Academy season, and to start it off, we're actually here for the Formula 1 Gran Premio de la Ciudad de Mexico 2022 here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, where the first ever Grand Prix back here was actually back in 1963. So a very good regular to the Formula 1 calendar, as we are going to be here for a 25% race. Of course, with the Academy division compared to the other tiers of tier 1 to 3, it's not a 50% race, just a 25, of course, in the Academy. gives these drivers a little bit of a tester to see what it's like racing in Prospects eRacing League. But a lot of them doing an exceptional job. A lot of them actually already in some of the divisions and fill up the seats to show the Academy people how it's done and what they'll be anticipating coming into the league. As Splandy has just crossed the line, the first person into the 115s with a 115.707 for the Mercedes, and I think we could be anticipating a low 115 actually. So. Potentially beating expectations coming into the end of qualifying, but a very, very good start.
Yeah, it's definitely a couple of drivers in here that I think are definitely capable of hitting those low 115s. I think what we'll see here is the field are more spread out compared to what we'll see in potentially tiers 1 to 3, just because of the vast nature of drivers we've got in this. But all the lap times are obviously, a great stepping stone and a great development for all the drivers in this tier.
Exactly, and they always look out to improve as these Academy drivers are coming through. And the one thing that that a lot of drivers do actually that are in the different tiers, of course, with them coming into the Academy race, they actually use this as a little bit of a test for themselves, for when it comes down to like testing their racecraft, testing their awareness on the track, and just building themselves better and better as a Prospects eRacing League racer. But love to see this support. And am I reading that right, Team Mouse? Is there a Ferrari on top of qualifying in Prospects of all things?
That is what we've just seen. We've got TTV Denny Scythe, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, who's gone with a 1:15.1. That was a fantastic lap time. I didn't see that coming, if I'm being completely honest.
Of course, and as I was saying, beating all expectations, and we could be even seeing a 114 potentially if they keep it up. But yeah, well, that is definitely going to be ones to watch.
I'm currently going through the tier 1 race that happened this past Monday, just to see what the pole time was there and where he'd be sat if he was in the tier 1 race.
Oh, let's see, where would he be?
Hold on, I've just got to skip forward to the end of qualifying. This is where I've got to do it quickly on the fly. I'll come back to you.
No worries, but yeah, I'm looking at the chat as well. So we see Artistic Obsidian in the chat. Good to have you in here. We also see Monster saying hashtag F1 hide and seek best game mode ever. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun. And we actually had ourselves a little bit of an enjoyable moment before commentary, where we were just going through different maps and just playing hide and seek on the tracks. And I gotta say, yeah, one of the most fun I've had, where I am still embarrassed by my mediocre attempt of being the seeker. And how long the one of the drivers actually was practically in plain sight and I just couldn't see him.
Yeah, it was just for the viewers watching at home, that was me. I did quite well to
yeah.
hide. I've got some statistics for you. So currently, Denny Scythe's lap of a 1:15.1 would have put him P9 in tier 1 or P2 in tier 2.
Oh wow! So
very, very respectable lap time there.
And especially for the first lap out here on the track as well. Very, very good standards for Denny Scythe. Same goes with Splandy as well in the Mercedes, doing an exceptional job as they both break into the 115s. Even Dark Destroyer, you could say, with a 116. Even Bigsy actually did Bigsy put his time on a set of mediums? No, he did it on the set of softs. So far, the fastest set of mediums out there is actually Denmark on 117.224. And at this track, actually, one thing I have learned time and time again, you actually do not want to start on that front row. You want to start in that second row to where you get a little bit of slipstream to carry you even further towards turn 1 and make yourself an early lead. Do you agree with that, or do you see something else?
Yeah, there's such a long run down into turn 1, and the slipstream's going to be so important, especially for those starting on the second row. I mean, if you're caught on that first row, you're going to be burning your ERS, probably unnecessarily down in the run to turn 1. You might, albeit, get a better entry and exit into turn 1 and free of any carnage that might happen behind you, but you do run that risk of getting slipstreamed and having the other drivers behind you on a couple of extra tenths a second quicker.
Exactly. So if you start on that front row, you better be ready to kick in that ERS as quick as possible and have the best start that you could ever have. As we just saw, Crashing Pro did a little bit of a Shadow Clone Jutsu onto the track as he disconnects from the lobby, but hopefully we'll get him back in soon. But do you think that we could potentially see a mid 114s, or am I pushing it a little bit too far?
I don't know. I think Denny's potentially at the moment the only driver.
Sorry to cut you off there, but we just saw a major crash with Lokito Yaya as his Aston Martin teammate of Matty D13 passes by as well, right into the stadium sector. So there's going to be a lot of cheers, potentially a lot of whistles from the stands. And that's the one thing about this track that makes it very, very difficult, ladies and gentlemen. Just that throttle. But of course, a lot of these drivers out here using no traction control in their Formula 1 cars, and just to ensure themselves as quick of a pace as they potentially can. But yeah, very, very difficult to do. As we just see Cavalis passing by the DNF Sul Sul Vendonnais. I think that's French.
Yeah,
Sul Vendonnais.
It fairly looks it, or French Canadian, potentially something like that. I apologise if I've completely got that wrong.
Well, I mean, same here. I mean, you're Canadian, so.
I'm definitely not Canadian.
Of course, but yeah, it's unfortunate for them, and in a peculiar way as well. Down the DRS straight towards turn 4, a bit different than what you would anticipate.
Yeah. I wonder if he was getting out of the way of someone potentially on a hot lap, and a quick flick of the wheel just unsettled the rear of the car.
Well, we're gonna have to check back with them later on to see exactly what happened there. But we're actually gonna go on board with Denai Sith, as he's actually right behind the AlphaTauri, I want to say, of Panda Man, if I am correct. Yeah, of Panda Man. And you can actually see Panda Man is actually improving by around 9/10, so he is not going to back out of this lap now as they come down towards the stadium sector. And let's see if Panda Man can bring himself into the 116s. It's looking very promising. Let's see even into the 115s as he hugs that right side. And he actually breaks into the 116.1. So up to 4th place for the time being. And Denai Sight did not improve on that last lap, but he's going to go for another one now. And with him being so far the quickest person in qualifying, we're going to get ourselves a brief description of the Mexican Grand Prix. So as you make your way down towards turn 1, you want to break around that 80, maybe 85 meter mark. As you make your way through the first chicane, turns 2 and turn 3, down the continuation of the first DRS zone, down towards turn 4 as you enter sector 2, as we see Denai Scythe currently down by 2/10 as you make your way towards turn 4 and 5. A lot of chicanes on this track, I should say, ladies and gentlemen, to now the double right apex right-hander of turn 6, and now comes the tricky part, turn 7 to 11, as you fight those G-forces through these corners and keep as much momentum as you can while staying within track limits, as we see Denai Sight just barely miss out on, and it really shows that even the best can really mess up in those S's. It really takes out a lot of people's focus and momentum through those corners.
Yeah, looks like he got a bit of looks like he got a bit of oversteer coming just through the middle of those S's there, and the car drifted a little bit far to the left to make it recoverable. That final little S chicane is probably one of the worst ones on the circuit. If you throw your car a bit too heavy into the mid pack, then you're just not going to have the space or the room to be able to take that last one competitively. And I think also that will ruin your run-off speed down into turn 12.
Exactly, right at the end of that, the second DRS zone on the track as you enter the stadium sector. But it's fun fact, actually, the two DRS zones from turn 17 towards turn 1 and turn 3 down to turn 4 is actually part of the same DRS detection zone. So even if you don't make it into turn 1 with the DRS, doesn't matter. You have a second chance down towards turn 4, and that chicane right there has been given a lot of let's say action over the years, both in prospects and also in the real life scene as well, where we saw Lewis Hamilton actually cross over the grass going side to side with Max Verstappen and did not want to initiate any sort of battle there, if you do remember that from, I believe, last season.
Yeah, I believe it was last season when they were obviously quite well known to be battling quite hard as we went through the season. Yeah, just simple run down to turn one, didn't have enough space. It's quite a pinch down there as it is without two drivers battling so hard. And I think Lewis did the sensible thing to get out of the way and bail through the grass.
Exactly, and them two definitely have a history with each other. But currently we're going to be on board with Splandy as he tries to tame Sector 2 in the Mercedes. Currently up by around 0.06 of a second, and looks like a pretty good Sector 2. And yep, he is up by 2/10, so we could be seeing a perfect mid 115.5 potentially, but he wants to get even higher. He wants to be on that pole position. Let's see if he's going to be the man to do it as he now comes around the final corners of turn 16, now 17. Let's see, can he break it in? And he just loses a 10th into Sector 3, but still improves to a 115.604.
Yeah, good lap from Splandy there, excuse me. Something of note, his fuel light is not flashing, so I wonder if he's overfueled a little bit or if he just forgot to turn his fuel down there. That definitely could be costing him a couple of tenths overall.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what they do, but Denai Sight's going to go out for another one here, and we're actually going to test out to see how quick these Formula 1 cars actually go down this DRS straight. Of course, with the Mexican Grand Prix being around 2,200 meters above sea level, the air is going to be a little bit thin in the real-life Grand Prix, and you can actually see breaching up to around 324 kilometers into turn 1. With the DRS and the hot lap being enabled as well, so you can just imagine what it would be with overtake instead of hot lap and with slipstream. Probably even seeing around 330s, maybe even 340 kilometers. But these drivers facing through it as they almost go around, I like to say the speed of light, even though it's not totally correct. But yeah, these Formula 1 cars just really show it.
You miss it.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I've never been at a real Formula 1 event, but man, I can just imagine seeing those cars just zoom past, and I'm gonna have a strained neck, just constantly looking left and right, then left and right, then left and right.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a complete whole new respect for the TV camera operators that are there at the track. The speeds that they have to cope with, especially on some of the high speed things, like the bottom of Eau Rouge and Radion as they're heading up that hill. I say that as Denai Scythe breaks into the 114s with a 114.947. This man cannot be stopped today.
This man cannot be stopped. But we also saw some improvements on the field from Matty D13 as he is able to make his way into the second row with Denmark as well in the Mercedes. So far, a very good result for the Mercedes team in qualifying. But one thing is definitely seeing the Ferrari on top with the 114.975. And if you guys didn't know, a little bit of a fun fact about prospects. Last season, collectively, the Ferrari team were the worst performing teams last season throughout all the divisions. And we've actually seen a few Ferrari drivers break the threshold of the drought of the Ferrari, where we saw Drunken Pirate, also known as Captain Jack, in Tier 2 make himself into the top 5. I believe even a podium. I'll have to check that. But and we also saw a representation of Tier 3 as well with their respective driver make their way into the points as well. So do you believe that just like the real life scene, the Ferrari could potentially be on top this season?
I think anything's possible, especially when it comes to this league. I think the Ferraris have got a really, really strong lineup across the board this year. Like you were saying, you've got Captain Jack and Lucifer in Tier 2. Let me just check out Tier 1. So Tier 1, Sam Brooks and Cameron. Cameron, a very, very quick driver if he is on his game. And Tier 3 as well. Not 100% sure. Who's Tier 3?
Tier 3 is actually Tita Silver and Monster. So Monster, of course, was in the Aston Martin last season and did an exceptional job. And right now, we actually saw Tita Silva finish in second for the Ferrari team to kick off the season. So a lot of good points for the Ferrari team. Alfa Romeo also had a very good result. Same with the Red Bull, as Craigie came in first place. And yeah, it just really shows that like a lot of drivers are coming in with new faces, new liveries, but it's still the same old story of quality driving. Sorry, I just had a brain fart there for a second.
Not to worry. I think everyone has finished their hot laps now. Yeah, we're just waiting on 2 drivers to head into the pits. All 1 driver now, just Blobby Butler. I'm going to absolutely mess that name up at some point. There's far too many B's and L's in there.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Bobby.
It's not even Bobby, it's Blobby.
Yeah, that's really gonna mess me up. But a fun fact in the chat as well, T4 Rio_TV just said John Meister in the Tier 1 PC actually got a win in his Ferrari. So even in the PC division, we're seeing the Ferrari come out on top. But as Denai Scythe crossed the line with the peace sign as well, it is a pole position for the Ferrari and a Mercedes making up that front row of Denai Scythe with Splandy, Panda Man, Gaming, and Matty D13 in that second row with Ghosty, Denmark, Dark Destroyer, Cavalis, Method 13 Jr., and Bigsy will all be starting on their set of softs as they use that in qualifying. The free tire choices will be Lokito Yaya, Kazakold, Solid JD, Fireball, Blobby Butler, Crashing Pro, and Sul Vondele. But
speaking of, I'm just going to go into the YouTube comments just really quickly. We've got Owen Sharpie here. He's come. Well, I say come to support Matty. I believe he's here to watch Matty Bennett. We love a bit of friendly rivalry or friendly banter, don't we?
Exactly, love to see it. As we see Matty actually respond as well. And shh in the chat as well. But ooh, it's actually a little bit cloudy here at Mexico, and this actually is going to be aiding those soft runners out there too, as it's going to be a little bit of cooler temperatures. It's going to keep those that tire wear a little bit lower, so potentially a longer stint on those set of softs. Paul K as well in the chat, same with Owen Tansley. Wait, hold on, there's 2 Owens. Owenception, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat. But yeah, Artistic also said that he was watching the Tier 1 PC link this morning, but got sidetracked and didn't finish yet. The commentary was technical and enjoyable. Great job. Gonna finish after this 25%. Well, let's see. Artistic, thank you again for coming in. As we do believe we do have a formation lap.
Yep.
It didn't show the red lights, so I was kind of confused there for a sec. Maddie, Owen Tasley says that if they can join this league, if you want to get yourself signed up, I'll quickly send the prospects league invite to the chat. So if anyone in the chat and watching back at home wants to take part, please go to the link sent by myself of Just Gaming and get yourself signed up. We have different tiers for different consoles of the Xbox and the PC and also PlayStation, as we are here today. But yeah, so far it's gonna be a good one. Deny Scythe, if you guys did miss out, one of the only driver here today to break into the 114s. So definitely some Tier 1 sort of pace in the academy that we are seeing. From Tier 1 to Tier 3, these academy drivers are going to see where they match up to the competition. But so far, Deny Scythe is definitely going to be one to watch.
Yeah, definitely that Ferrari driver will be hoping to pull away from the start here. I think, like we said, it's definitely a little bit cloudy or overcast, so those tyre temperatures are going to be harder to get up. Will be really important when if a safety car comes out. It'll be harder to warm those tyres up, especially if any driver opts for the medium or the hard tyre. I think, yeah, it's going to be a long run down into turn 1. So I believe Panda Man, who managed to get himself into P3. I didn't notice that one. So Panda Man P3 and Matty in P4, they're going to be the ones running down to turn 1 with a little bit of slipstream advantage. But I believe Splandy and Deny Scythe will be able to make their cars as wide as possible, Fernando Alonso style, and just hold them at bay. We've got the final few remaining drivers lining up on the grid now. Just got to get that Red Bull into place. I believe you're working on getting the link in for people in the chat.
Oh, I've already sent it twice. But But yeah, now, ladies and gentlemen, 18 laps around the Mexican Grand Prix. We're about to kick it off. 5 red lights deny us off that restart, but they're coming out with the 5 red lights on there. And we are now underway to kick off the Academy race here for Prospects. And it looks like it is an amazing start there for Panaman Gaming. Looking around the outside towards turn 1 as he is almost going side to side with Deny Scythe. Deny trying to defend on the inside against Denmark. Oh, and a big squeeze 3 wide towards turn 1, 4 wide even, and a McLaren goes almost into the grass. But great defense there from Deny Scythe down towards turn 3. A little bit of mayhem near the back as Cavalis falls down to P12. You also see Sol Von Denay with an amazing start. From P17 up to P11 within 3 corners. We see Method as well going side to side with Dark Destroyer, and near the back as well as Soul made his way up to P10. Big Z, Cavalis, and also Lokito Yaya having himself a battle. I cannot even stop speaking as there's battles all over the field here, ladies and gentlemen, as Cavalis and Lokito Yaya settled their battle, with Lokito Yaya moving up to P12. Now back up to the front. We see Matty D13 looking right on the tail end of Panaman Gaming. Is he looking on the inside? No, he will not. He's going to play a little bit more patient, even though it's a lower length race here tonight. It still is a a marathon, and coming down to the end of lap 1, we see Deny Scythe with an extraordinary lead, and we also saw near the back Kazakode going into the runoff area of turn 12 as he mistimes the braking zone. Good evasive maneuvers.
Fireball was in the wall.
Oh, we just saw that on screen, ladies and gentlemen. Captured in 4K, hopefully 4K. I think it's 720p. But yeah, very unfortunate for the Ferrari. Now a Ferrari near the back as they take an early lead, but it's still a Ferrari up front. As we saw Matty D make his way up to P2. Ghosty Riot's going to go side to side with Panaman Gaming down towards turn 4, and the McLaren of Ghosty Riots makes his way into the podium positions.
Yeah, Panaman just slipping a little bit further down there. Matty's done well to get up into P2, as well as Ghosty Riots, who definitely is a strong contender here for a podium. Just going back to that little crash, I believe that Kaza and Fireball had a bit of collision at the start, and Fireball, whilst trying to nurse his car back with no front wing, I think just took that final right-hander a bit too hastily, and obviously ended up in the barriers.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. We see a desperate dive there from Splandy down towards the stadium sector, and his teammate of Denmark now going to go side to side. The Mercedes battling out, and then why did I just roll my R there? Denmark.
Oh, that's not destroying the wall.
The same place as Fireball, so it looks like a lot of mayhem through that corner. DRS has been enabled, but it will be after the VSC. Wow, and it's full safety car now.
So what happened there? Splandy and Dark Destroyer have gone side by side, had a little bit of collision, and Dark Destroyer just ended up coming out the worst of those two in the inside barrier. I think it's a bit of an internal deflection there, but that's an early end for Dark Destroyer's race, unfortunately.
That is very unfortunate for the early crash in this race. But of course, it's only the start of the season. It doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you end. Just like in a race and just like in qualifying, and same goes with the entirety of the season when it comes to the championships. But with the safety car in this lap now, well, not in this lap, out on the track now, it's going to be a little bit of an extra twist to the Mexican Grand Prix. And, yeah, how would you describe this start of the race in one word here?
Chaotic. That's the only word that I can use at the moment.
I would say a little bit mixed. That's what I would say.
Okay, yeah. Crashing Pro there with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
Of course, those drivers needing to respect the delta, or else they'll be getting the same sort of treatment.
I think every driver is going to pit here.
Oh, solid JD.
Not to. Disqualified.
Oh, as he received too many drive-through penalties. He has received a second one, and that's going to be him out of this race. I just saw Splandy and Solid JD going side to side through the pit entrance, And it looks like Solid JD is going to be the one coming out the worst of it, as he was caught up on the exit through there, as he is now down to P12.
Yeah, a little bit of a collision between the two of them heading into the pit lane. Obviously, any collision under safety car seems to give you a serious penalty. Crashing Pro there just went back through the race director. He did indeed receive 2 drive-through penalties back-to-back, and that did unfortunately disqualify him from this race. Just at the moment, Kazza Cold, who's made up 11 positions to find himself in P1 at the moment. Not sure if he's pit or not, though. Let's have a little look. He is not. Only driver not to pit so far, so he will have to go in later. Maybe banking on a later safety car, maybe?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, different strategies out there on the field. And as we do have this safety car, let's get a few fun facts about the Mexican Grand Prix, if you guys didn't know. So, there was this period in the Formula 1 calendar where the Mexican Grand Prix was actually not part of the F1 calendar. This is a little bit of a 23-year absence of it. But it did make a comeback back in 2015 to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, where the circuit was comprehensively redesigned by Herman Tilke ahead of F1's return. And the main change that we saw was a slow-speed stadium sector added, and it actually cut off half of the infamous Perotada final corner. So a lot of some tracks this year and throughout the years actually making a lot of changes. We saw the change to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last season with Turn 5 well, actually, Turn 5, instead of being Turn 5, 6, and 7 being a chicane, it's actually just a one sweeping left-hander. Same goes with at the end of the second DRS zone, where instead of that chicane, turned into a long sweeping left-hander. We saw Barcelona as well changing their Turn 10 and 11 to just one sweeping left-hander of Turn 10. And we also saw reconstruction both at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix, and also at Australia, where it included another DRS zone.
Yeah, speaking of that Australia, I think they removed that 4th DRS zone for the race. I believe they decided due to the kink in the track that it wasn't safe and a bit of a safety hazard, so it was reduced back down to 3 for the race. But during practice, they were allowed all 4. I think it was just an on-site decision for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's good to see F1 going through the changes. Of course, the biggest change that we've seen in the season has actually been down to the Formula 1 cars with the regulation changes, of course. And it just puts out a whole new aspect to the race and to Formula 1 itself. And I'd say so far it's been for the good. We've seen some mid-teams make their way up the pecking order. Haas being one of the biggest changes when they brought in Kevin Magnussen. But as I'm gonna stop speaking, as we do have the safety car coming in this lap, and I'm gonna leave it with T-Mouse to kick us back off.
Yes, we're going to hop on board with Denai Scythe, who is leading this procession at the moment. Just a quick word on tyres. Everyone is on the medium tyre except Saul Vandenaar and Blobby Butler. Both have made their required pit stops, but he's going to leave it late. TTV Denai Scythe has released himself now as they go around that final corner. He has got a fantastic jump, gaining almost half a second, nearly 6/10 on Matty D behind him. Go to your right, all seem to be getting away fairly well. Saul's going to have to do well on the soft tyre, but he seems to be dropping a bit far back. We're going to keep on board with Denai here as we go into turn 1. Matty looks to make a bit of a lunge, but actually holds back quite well to not try and make an instant there. Coming through, though, that's Kane. Oh, Matty does well to save himself there. That could have been an interesting spin. And we've got 2 rounds. We've got Hassan Alfa Romeo background. That is Bigsy and Method. They seem to have come together in that first chicane. And that's going to ruin probably both their races now, unless they can do something spectacular to catch up.
Oh, I'm actually currently on board up the field now. We're seeing Panaman Gaming and Matty D13 having themselves a good battle through turns 4, 5, and 6. Now towards turn 7, and Panaman, what an aggressive move there. Because usually you would have people back off into those S's, but Panda Man was dedicated. He wanted to make his way through, and he is able to make his way into the podium. Now coming down towards the end of that straight, we see Matty trying to stick his nose in to try and battle out for that P3 position. Couldn't really find the gap there, and that's going to be giving Denmark an opportunity to catch up. But as we are now coming around for lap 7 of 18, with Denai getting the fastest lap of 1:18.480, let's see how these drivers take it now. And Von Denay is able to break through it with a 1:17.1 for himself.
Yeah, definitely making those soft tyres work for him there. Obviously, got one more lap before DRS is enabled for these drivers, and they're going to have none of that to use. Matty D gets a 3-second penalty for cutting that second corner of the chicane, but they're going to be burning all their ERS here. I know both Panda Man and Matty are on about 10%, so they must have used all of their ERS they had saved up over the past 2 laps to stay apart or stay between each other, depending on who you are. And yeah, definitely trying to keep away. But like you said, Denmark is caught quite close up to them now. He's sitting pretty on about 65% ERS, and Sol behind them on about 40, so they're going to be wanting to make a move probably when the DRS enables in the next couple of laps or so.
Well, let's see how they take this now, as Blobby Butler is now out of this race, ladies and gentlemen. Another one bites the dust, or should we say takes a huge chunk of concrete for their dinner, as they are going to be crashed into the wall. Blobby Butler not starting off well so far. But hey, yeah, still, a lot of drivers actually lose out even quicker, as we did see earlier on in this race, and even in the other tiers as well. So it's just a lot of drivers falling down, and of course they're going to get themselves back up.
I think every driver is now going to pit for a set of soft tyres if they're wanting to. They can definitely last 10 laps. I think that'll be on the minds of almost every driver as they pile into the pits. Some are staying out on the mediums. That's an interesting call. I think they're hoping that the softs are going to die out sooner than the 10 laps that are left in this race.
But you know what's one thing I do got to say though, actually, Team Else? One person that has had an amazing start at the beginning of this race on those set of mediums, with that first safety car, switched to a set of softs, stayed out on a set of softs, started in last, now finds themselves in first place. Sul Van Denay. What an incredible race so far for that man right there, as they might be actually, what's it called? Probably ending on those set of softs, but they just have to nurse them around the beast of Mexico. But still, so far, an extraordinary race for Sul Van Denay.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm not sure whether that was complete strategy or a little bit of luck with the safety cars here, but either way, he does indeed find himself in the lead of this pack here, and like you said, he'll be nursing the soft tyres him. But once you're in the lead, and if you can get a 1 second gap from Denmark behind him, then he won't be under threat from the DRS. He's just got to do well with the restart and with the jump. If he can get that perfect, then he probably won't have much to worry about.
But now with this race could be ending with about 9 laps left to go here, Team Mouse. We're seeing our pole sitter being at the back with 11th position, right ahead of Ghosty Rise. He's trying to warm up those tires, but looks like he's warming up a little bit too much, as he almost slips around into the middle of the stadium sector. But oh, and it looks like he actually overfueled his car as well, as he's staying on those high revs. So a bit of a good on track strategy for that man right there. But I think this man could definitely have a huge restart in this race, especially with the amount of pace that he's had at the beginning and in qualifying. Could definitely make his way back up the pecking order.
Yeah, definitely. He's sat currently in P9 on a fresh set of soft tyres, and I think with the pace he's demonstrated during qualifying, quite easily, maybe half a second quicker than most of this field. I think if he can keep attached to the main pack, because I have a feeling there'll probably be a bit of a divide. Probably the top 4 are going to break off. That's what I'm predicting at the moment. If he can stay attached to that, then he'll probably do well. He just has to bide his time, and you know, he's effectively got 8-9 laps to pick off 8-9 drivers. So if he can do a driver a lap, then I think that's what he's aiming for, and that'll be what's going through the back of his mind at the moment.
Well, let's see if he's going to be able to pull this off. A lot of drivers ahead of him, a lot of different, you could say, personalities, but also a lot of strengths ahead of him. But let's see if his strength can turn those into weaknesses for the other drivers. But yes, so far currently P9, Vandenay, a very, very good race. We actually saw a lot of people in this race actually spin around and see themselves having a good recovery. But as the safety car is coming in, ladies and gentlemen, Sue Vandenay will be restarting this race. And before he does, I do want to remind you guys that if you guys are enjoying Prospects eRacing League, we do have a Twitter and Instagram account. So please make your way over there to get any sort of updates of the league, different notifications, probably some fun facts, and maybe even some behind-the-scenes content. But ladies and gentlemen, as we do kick this off, Vandenay with a little bit of a slippery exit through turn 17 is able to have an amazing start as Lokita Yaya spins around the final corner into the pit lane, and he now finds himself down to P13, and that is very unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver, as we now have Cavalos and Solid JD battling each other side to side through turn 1, and Solid JD into the podium positions.
Yeah, those top kind of third down to 10th battling here, that's only going to help Seoul and Denmark pull away from the rest of this pack. They've got a 2-second advantage over Solid JD just behind them at the moment, and they're probably only going to extend that more as the rest of the field seem to fight amongst themselves.
Oh, and I'm actually looking at the chat right now, actually, and it's going to be Blobby Butler in the chat. And he says, Blobby here, bended on the inside curb, fitting that he's in the Mazepin's car. So you really did represent that well, I can definitely tell you that. But now we're actually seeing Ghosty, Riots, and Bigsy going side to side through the S's, and that is ballsy. That they have bigger balls than me, I can definitely tell you that. But
I appreciate. All I'm going to say is Seoul at the moment is 2.5 seconds up on second place, and he is running away with this.
But of course, those softs can be out of this race later on. But he does cross with a 116.983, and I do want to say that has actually beaten the current lap record in the real-life Formula One scene from Valtteri Bottas back in 2021 with a 117.774. Of course, if you guys do remember, stealing that crucial extra point from Max Verstappen here at Mexico and making it a tied point battle when they went down to Abu Dhabi. Now Denai Scythe going side to side with Bigsy. He's trying to fit in some sin. A little bit of ambitious there, and there goes Method. Couldn't avoid the contacted Ferrari of Denai Scythe. Loses his right end plate for that Alfa Romeo as he is going to take his sweet time to enter back. Cavalos as well having himself a little bit of a incident through turn 4 as we do see Splandy, Kazakol, and Denai Scythe make their way through right behind Bigsy. That 5-way battle for 7th place is really stirring up a little bit.
Yeah, Denai Scythe's going to be absolutely kind of screaming in his helmet at the moment.
Oh! Sorry there! That was a huge crash from Ghosty Riots!
It went so quick! I managed to catch that.
Wow! So Panaman Gaming and Ghosty Riots were going side to side through the S's. They make contact, and Ghosty Riots probably hitting around 5 G's into that corner, I swear. That was heavy! Like, heavy!
Somehow, no safety car or yellow flag. The marshals seem to be able to clear that up themselves, but that is only going to help Denai Scythe. He's made up, what, 3 positions now? He's now probably up to 9th once he gets past Bigsy. Sorry, he's up to 6th, sorry. And that is definitely making up his target of a lap. Oh, he spins Bigsy! Just clips the front wing of Bigsy.
Yep, we just caught that down towards turn 2. Very unfortunate there, but I'm actually seriously surprised that there was no safety car. I hope that he's okay, because he's definitely... He might have gotten a lot of whiplash into that corner, because that was a heavy, heavy hit.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look like a comfortable one to be hitting. But now Denai Scythe's actually got ahead, and he's now catching up to the bunch that is Solid JD, Pandaman, and Massey, who are all fighting each other, just allowing the Ferrari to catch up with them. Seems to be a lot quicker through the S's. Bear in mind he's on a 3-second penalty. But Seoul is 5 seconds in the lead at a minimum, and I don't think he's being caught at the moment. Oh, Denai Scythe just hitting the back of Matty D as well. I think he just needs to be a little bit careful.
And is he looking at damage there, actually? I mean, he
Didn't
does
look like
let...
anything came off his car.
Looks like Splandy was able to make his way through. Oh, you can actually really see, yeah, Denai's side doesn't have any visual damage, but he has some internal damage on that front wing as he shoots into the pit lane with the time penalty as well. And we're now looking at Matty D and Panaman making their way past Solid JD. Solid JD could be looking to get the position back around the outside. Matty D takes defensive maneuvers and takes around the outside of Panaman. A battle for the podium as Panaman is hit with a 3-second time penalty. Good racecraft and awareness between those two of Panaman and Matty D as they go side to side through turns 1, 2, and 3. And for that third place, you can actually see now towards turn 4, but Matty D stayed in that 4th place position. Good battle so far.
Yeah, it looks like TTV Scythe has actually left the session. Not sure if that was intentional or if he just forgot to retire his car there. But yeah, Matty D, Panaman and Solid JD all having a fantastic bit of battle. Splandy's also caught up behind them. A little bit of contact between Solid JD and Splandy. Kaz is also looking getting involved. He's got the DRS to go down that back straight. But I'm watching on board with him as Splandy and Solid JD battle. You got Panaman and Matty ahead of him as well. As they head through this stadium section, it's all going to be quite tight.
Oh, and a desperate dive there from Solid JD as Splandy is able to go off the track limits there as he is trying to avoid the Alpine. We also see Kazakold down towards the final corner, but I think Splandy is going to be one of the biggest winners here tonight with no time penalties and is making up a lot of positions. Now up to P5 as Matty D and Panaman also have a switch for that podium position. But Saul Vondenay, what a race he is having. Red Bull showing once again back in Tier 3 and I believe in Tier 2. Tier 3 with Craigie, and now here tonight the Red Bull is going to be on top here at Mexico. Of course favorite because of Sergio Perez being the, is that, if I'm correct, the only current Mexican Formula 1 driver?
Only current, yes.
But yeah, so far, what an extraordinary race. I'm looking at the chat as well. Blobby says, even though they crashed out early, loving this league with streams and comms and looking forward to next week already. You'll have us as well. Shane in the chat, of course, one of the admins here. Good mates. And he says, can we get some likes on this stream? Comms and drivers doing a great job as always. As we see Matty D and Panaman going side to side down towards the stadium sector. And Panaman with some extraordinary defensive moves. And I think Matty D has really put Panaman in a tough predicament. Matty D will be having DRS. Same goes with Splandy. So it could be a double loss of positions here for Panaman. Bingram says, great comms, lads, as always. Appreciate it, my man. Artistic as well in the chat interacting. Samir Gill as well, actually, in the chat, who was actually Dark Destroyer, taking an early leave in this race, but decides to stay around and watch the comms and watch the stream. Good to have all of you guys in here. Sparko as well in the chat. Love to see everyone here. Unlucky with Panda, I would have gotten, I would have got that podium. Says
Sparko being Ghosty Riots.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think if we missed that onboard battle as well, Matty D's managed to get past Panda Man on that first DRS straight as well. Solid JD, I wonder if he's just biding his time a little bit. He's looking a little bit too far back. He's not the one I'm on about. Splandy, who's who I'm on about, rather. Splandy, I think, just biding his time a little bit. Oh, big crash!
The same corner where Panda Man and Ghosty Riots going side to side. Panda Man is going to be the one spinning and loses his front wing.
He's come out quite well out of that. If that's just a front wing that he's lost, considering we've had a few other retirements and DNFs from that. He's got to be careful now not to get in the way of some of the cars behind him as he nurses the AlphaTauri back to the pits for a wing change.
Wow, that was insane, I gotta say. I'm so lucky to be still in this race, I do gotta say that. But now we'll be going into the pit lane, potentially with the fastest lap. We're gonna have to check back with him later on. But now we're seeing Cavalis going side to side with Solid JD for P5. And he's able to make the move. Solid JD trying to defend around the outside. Now the inside of turn 2 as they make their way through. And he is hit with a 3-second time penalty. Trying to avoid the McLaren while also doing his best to stay within track limits. Jay's just checking the airbag. Yeah, because that was a major hit.
That was a massive crash.
Phew. I'm actually surprised that Formula 1 cars don't have airbags. Does that just show that they're not really that much... Oh, too much
Well, no.
weight. Yeah.
So there's three things there's three reasons why they won't have airbags. One is weight, one is space, and one is actually airbags at that speed aren't effective.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think anything upwards of about 100 mile an hour, airbags are null and effective, which is why the drivers are in there so tight. Obviously, they've got their seats formed to their body. They've got the hands device, which keeps their head stable in a collision. So there's a lot more other safety features that your typical road car won't have.
And as it's coming down to the dire moments of the race, ladies and gentlemen, with 2 laps left to go, I do want to remind you guys, please, 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 if you are new to the channel and you do see yourself coming back from time to time and enjoying the content, please make sure you hit that big subscribe button and have that notification bell on so you're notified every time Prospects Racing League goes live for a race. PC Tier 1 on Mondays, PlayStation Tier 1 on Mondays as well. PC around 3 p.m. Eastern with 8 p.m. GMT. Mondays 2 hours later. Then same time 5 p.m. EST, 10 p.m. GMT for Tier 2 and Tier 3 for PlayStation. Xbox Tier 1 on Thursdays at 9 p.m. GMT. And PlayStation Academy here today on Fridays for 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. Again, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. And please hit that like button if you are. I love the interaction in the chats. But with Sol Vondenay coming around the final corner as well, I do want to remind you guys again, Prospects does have a Twitter and Instagram, so please make your way over and search up Prospects eRacing League so you get notifications on there about Prospects, any little fun facts, or potentially behind the scenes as well. You just never know. But if you want to know what we're posting, go over there. But an amazing race, I gotta say, an amazing race.
Yeah, just going through the schedule, like you were saying, we also have our Gran Turismo 7 division that they race on the weekends. I believe it's Saturday and Sunday at the moment. I think the dates and class of car is just being finalised at the moment. But we have a very, very full schedule. At least something every day, if not 2 things every day. And this is definitely going places, so do stick around. Come join us if you want to. Link is in the chat.
And I will send it once again if you guys are wondering. We might potentially, should we actually in the future have it in the description?
Yes, I'll edit it into the description anyway.
Alright, so if you guys are going to be watching this race back once again to see the extraordinary race, but actually, I should be quiet, actually. Sol Vondenay is coming around towards the stadium sector. The flares are shooting off. The confetti is being fired. The fireworks are in the air. And Sol Vondenay comes around with his debut win here for Prospects in the Red Bull. He is going to be excited. Denmark coming around the final corner as well to finish in P2. Matty D is just going to miss out on it with his time penalty. And Splandy up to P3. A podium for the Red Bull and both of the Mercedes. Extraordinary.
I don't think we can appreciate what Sol's just done there. He's gone from last to first. He's done 14 laps on soft tyres in a 25% race. This man has raced that Red Bull to its absolute extremes, and I'll tell you what, he's won by 17, nearly 18 seconds.
Extraordinary. Clear driver of the day for the Red Bull of Sol Vondenay. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly because I think that his name is definitely going to be remembered after this performance. A last to first, you'd love to see it, especially in the league race, where all the pressure's on you.
Christian Horner is I think he's ecstatic right now. If we could see him, he would definitely be jumping up and down for joy, as the game also gives him driver of the day. I think there's no other choice at the moment. Last to first in a league race, and in such a prestigious league, if I do say so myself.
Exactly. We're having the Jarno Upmeer player character this season's and last season's F1 Esports champion, and with the Dutch flag as well, is deja vu here at Prospects eRacing League.
Isn't Jarno Upmeer?
I mean, hey, with that pace, I wouldn't be surprised, and with that strategy as well, love to see that. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do the roundup, and we're going to end it off. But Sol Vondenay getting maximum points here tonight. Started in last, ended in first with the fastest lap. Couldn't have done any better on the track. Denmark and Splandy bringing some good points for the Mercedes team as they top the construction. I'm having a Oh my god.
Constructors.
Thank you, Constructors Championship, as Matty D just misses out. Cross the line third, but with the time penalty moves down to fourth. Then we have Cavalier, Big Z, Kazakode, Solid JD, Lokito Yaya, Panda Man, Deny Sight, and Method all finishing the race. The non-finishers is going to be Ghosty Rides, Blobby Butler, Crashing Pro, Dark Destroyer, and Fireball, and I just got that within the time limit. Man, I'm good. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do enjoy it, we'll be back here next week for the PC Tier 1 on Monday, followed up by the PlayStation on Tier 1 next week, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT, 5 p.m. Eastern, and 10 p.m. GMT right after that. Again, Team Els, thank you so much for coming into the comms. It would have been a solo today, but it was good to have you, man. And hopefully we get to do this again.
It's always a pleasure, man. Definitely. It's always a pleasure to be alongside you in the commentary box. And
Absolutely love it.
Hopefully more in the future.
Exactly, and always doing an exceptional job for prospects. You Team Mouse, always love it. But ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you guys again, if you do enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also find Prospects eRacing League on Instagram and on Twitter. Until next time, next week Monday, we're out. Lots of love and stay safe all.